This is Guardian Radio, your station for up-to-the-minute news and intelligent, interactive, and engaging conversations. 96.9 FM. The views and opinions of the hosts and guests are their own and do not necessarily reflect the views of the management and staff of Guardian Radio.
This morning and welcome back to Guardian Radio 96.9 FM, your station for fresh news, smart talk all day. It is Tuesday, the 10th of February, 2026, and you are on the clock with Chickchani Greene. I am back, but not by myself. I have some other Chickchanis in studio with me. And let me tell you how you're going to know they're Chickchanis. When you come to the studio today, you ain't going to find none of us. You ain't going to see none of us because we in Chickchani mode. Also, it could be because this is a pre-recorded show, but it is my pleasure to host this show today. I have joining me in studio Sonia Farmer, founder of Poinciana Paper Press, and the residents of two art residencies taking place in the Bahamas at Poinciana Paper Press right now. Themselves in a moment, but we are primarily going to be talking about arts, the creative sector, culture. Some of my cousins from another dozens further south in the Caribbean. We will have Sonia Farmer in studio and residents of the Lucayan Archipelago Residency 2026 and the Poinciana Paper Press Residency 2026. Good morning, everyone.
Morning, Erin.
How y'all doing?
Excited to be here.
Absolutely. I have questions to ask you, but I don't want to let out the surprise just yet. Okay, I'm going to ask everybody to introduce themselves, tell us who you are, what you do, and why you here.
I love it.
We're going to start to my left and end with Ms. Farmer.
Okay. My name is Tracy Assing. I am here from Trinidad and Tobago. I'm a member of Trinidad's indigenous community. I'm a writer, and I'm just really excited to be here. I'll pass on now.
Hi, I'm Carol Surrender from the Nature Isle of Dominica. I'm a visual artist primarily, but I write as well, and very excited to be here as well.
I'm Lisa Codella, way from Freeport, Grand Bahama. I'm a writer and ceramic artist, and I am just immersed in Poinciana Paper Press and the book arts and just having a great time here in Nassau.
I am a fellow Grand Bahamian. My name is Natalie Willis-Wiley. I am a curator, writer, and prodigal artist who is very, very, very happy to be able to dig into my creative practice again through this residency. More about that later, but just that's the reason we're here. We're here to make things well, make good things, you know.
And I'm Sonia Farmer, and I'm the founding director of Poinciana Paper Press. I'm also a writer and artist, but in this context, I run Poinciana Paper Press, which is a center for writing, book arts, and publishing here in the Bahamas.
All right, I want you all to know that these women are far more than what they just told you just now. We're going to get into that. But I am excited about this show because I have been able to take part in some of the activities taking place in the residencies this year. They've allowed me to make things with them and shake things with them and cut down things with them, be in the bush with them. And I often don't call myself an artist. I have produced at least one show call juxtaposition, because everything I do apparently has to be critical. I don't understand why, because I don't like school, but I like thinking. And this series of residencies, I think, has been a space where creativity, but critical thought, engagement, and exploration as well. So, Sonia, tell us briefly about Poinciana Paper Press and what does it mean to be a center for writing, book arts, and publishing. What is book arts?
Sure, yeah. So it's the first center for book arts in the Bahamas, and there aren't too many of them in the Caribbean, the wider Caribbean. So what it means to be a center for writing, book arts, and publishing, all of those things are related and speak to each other. It means that we are all about the book at Poinciana Paper Press. And so by that, I mean, obviously we have a small library with some resources, so like what you would think about books in a traditional way, but we also make books. And we make books by using like modern digital and analog traditions together. So along with, of course, digital production and printing, there's also letterpress printing, which is printing with old movable type. We make paper by hand, make books by hand, like sewing. There's calligraphy done there. And also other printmaking processes like silkscreen printing and relief printing. So all of these things come together in the book form so that the book becomes a dynamic site of performance.
Wow.
It's really fun.
I have a list of the core values of the press, right? And I couldn't leave anything off the list.
Oh, wow, okay.
Right?
We're going to read all of them.
I can try and read all of them, right?
Well, I'll say that, the core sort of principles come out of wanting to create a space that is very inclusive. I mean, when we think about making our own books and having our own printing press, we think of, right, and power of production and owning the means of production. And all of these things are very true to my artistic practice, but also the space that I want to create, and understanding that with great power comes great responsibility. Mm-hmm. So we have to align our intentions when we make our own books and make our own prints and have that power, because it's very powerful and very radical to make your own books, right? Mm-hmm. That we align it with values that are inclusive, subversive, intellectual, progressive, things like that. Absolutely. So that's what the core values come out of.
I'm going to get into the core values, but there's a moment there. Recently, the U.S. government and the government of China have come to an agreement about the operation of TikTok in America, right? And so there was a threat to ban TikTok in America entirely, and so many content creators were concerned that this stream of income that they've carved out for themselves is going to disappear, right? Because the platform that they have no control over is no longer available to them. And people were in a panic and an uproar, and I can understand why. But ultimately, those artists had to realize that you don't own your art if you require an external platform to be able to publish it, right? And so I was drawn most recently to the press within that sort of critical space. There are rules, right? And while nobody at my station tells me what I can say and what I can't say, and I can tell you all that, right? I acknowledge that there are rules, and I moderate my speech, understanding that I don't own this platform. And what I say can aggrieve someone to the point where they can petition for me to be removed from the air.
Right. This is why we have the core values in place, because anyone who comes through, because of Poinciana Paper Press, we're going to talk about the residency programs today out of the space, but I also run workshops. Other artists and creative folks teach at Poinciana Paper Press as well. I have like free events. I also partner with Equality Bahamas, the human rights organization, to support their programming through various like free art initiatives and creative initiatives, or just activist related initiatives. And so because there's a lot of people coming through the press and that it's a collective space, we need to make sure that we all understand what we're building together and what we're maintaining together, because it just takes one, it does take really just one person to come in
and disrupt an environment.
Disrupt the environment in a way that has very negative consequences for like our cultural momentum, frankly. Mm-hmm. I've seen it happen. So I'm trying to get ahead of that.
One thing I appreciate about working from the space is represented in this core value here. Collaboration provides powerful experiences to learn from one another. So I've been working on my own project in the press space while you guys have been working the magic. And I can tell you, I'm inspired when I'm in the space, even though I'm not working on what you're working on. And that sort of collaborative energy is just powerful. I'm going to ask the artists about that at some point in the conversation, the value of working with other people on the same projects. But some other core values, right? We support honing our craft through traditional and modified techniques and materials, right? How much of what is traditional and what is natural comes to the fore at the press?
Yeah, and that comes out of the fact that I was educated in book arts in like a global north space. I was at the University of Iowa Center for the Book, which is an incredible program. I love my teachers in Iowa City. It was very interesting. But, over here, we don't have access to a lot of the traditional materials that I've been taught to work with in the book arts. And so how can we instead think about using what we have here? What kind of plants can we make paper out of? So we've been making banana paper, for example, with the residents here. What kind of resources are here? Because you can't just go around the corner to Blick Art Supplies and get what you need. You have to work with what's around or be prepared in order. Yeah, and some things aren't appropriate for the environment. Modifying aspects of the paper mill, for example, having traditional felts, wool felts, not very useful because of like how hot the climate is, how humid, they can't dry very well. Moths can get in them very easily. So, just thinking about how we modify things and why we center conversations about craft and in one space, how can we be more inclusive in this space?
I love it.
And collaboration is part of that when you talked about collaboration. Yeah. Everyone brings in a different perspective. Carol has been working with natural dyes. I'm sure she'll get into that, but it's been phenomenal to see what she can just make out of the environment, out of cocoa plum and things like that.
They made banana collaborate with sisal.
Yeah, banana.
They made banana collaborate with sisal.
Yeah,
and it's something that I didn't expect, but made something wonderful that they're going to tell you about in a moment. So let's drive back to the residency. The primary residency that we're going to talk about now is the Lucayan Archipelago Residency 2026. All right. What is the Lucayan Archipelago Residency? When was it started? Who are the partners? What's the criteria for selection? And how do I apply? How do I get in? I'm trying to get in this.
Residency is a collaboration between Poinciana Paper Press and Fresh Milk Art Platform out of Barbados. It's really a project that was conceptualized by Fresh Milk, and it's funded by the Pantareya Foundation. So the Pantareya Foundation wanted to fund a residency in the Caribbean that would bring two regional artists, one practicing mostly in visual art, one practicing mostly in writing, together into a third Caribbean space in order to have a critical cultural dialogue with our ecology and our cultural landscape, and have a conversation with that through the craft of book arts. So I have a long-standing sort of creative partnership, I guess, with Fresh Milk. I myself have done a residency at the Fresh Milk Art Platform in 2016. So I've known the director, Annalie Davis, for a long time. So she reached out and we conceptualized this residency together. This is the second cohort. So the first cohort came in September through to November 2024.
Okay.
That was a writer from Barbados and an artist from Puerto Rico. And so this time we have a writer from Trinidad and an artist from Dominica. And we work together. I teach them art, so we do some foundational workshops in making books, making paper, letterpress printing, and anything else that they might be interested in. So we've done a little bit of silkscreen printing, for example, and then they also...
Hold on. They did photography with plates, son.
Oh, cyanotype. Yeah, we
Yes.
did a little cyanotype. And the cyanotype workshop was actually led by another artist in residence at Poinciana Paper Press, Candida Cash.
Yes.
And so she kindly led a whole demonstration and workshop on it just last Saturday. So that was really fun, too, to see the residents, like, teaching each other things, showing each other things. But the other part of the residency, the other component, is a series of excursions where Tracy and Carol have been able to go to certain ecological or cultural heritage sites in New Providence. So they went to the Primeval Forest and Clifton Heritage Park, as well as other cultural sites, so like the major galleries and art spaces in New Providence. And then they did a special trip to Andros for 4 days.
Oh, my Andros?
Oh, my Andros. It was very, it
Make-
aligned
make-
with
make-
their research and creative interests. So they were able to go to the Ambrosia factory. They were able to visit the Red Bay settlement and also the Blue Holes National Park. And they were joined by Lisa Cadella. Lisa also went.
Okay.
So out of the Lucayne Archipelago residency, I thought, since they're coming anyway, and I think it's more interesting for visiting artists to have a creative community, because there are people who come through Poinciana Paper Press, like I said, Candida, yourself, and other folks,
Yeah.
Margot Bell. But I thought it would be fun to run another concurrent residency, a Poinciana Paper Press residency, and bring in like 2 to 3 other folks in the creative industries to be in conversation, to also learn about book arts, to also make work and have cultural and critical exchange with each other. So that's how the Poinciana Paper Press residency has come about. And this is actually the 3rd time I've done it. I started it in 2020. In 2024,
Okay.
I had 2 cohorts in 2024, one concurrently with the first Lucayne Archipelago residency. So this is the 3rd time. So that is Lisa Cadella and Natalie Willis-Wiley are here as part of that. And Holly Parati, too, has joined us a little bit.
Okay, yeah. I mean, I've had like just fantastic times. And I could be honest, I just steal in ideas and energy from the real artists, right? Like I have to say, Candida is a co-collaborator in my Gay Wench t-shirt line,
Yeah.
right? Don't blame her, blame the brain
Yeah.
who called me a gay wench.
That's right.
But sir, I still love you. There's no bad blood between us. Okay, so 2 residencies, 1 time. What's the output? Does the residency produce something, and
Yeah.
will the general public get to see it, or just the artist community?
Yes. So as part of the Lucayne Archipelago residency, the idea is that we do finish with a collaborative project. So Tracy and Carol have read this book, a limited edition artist book that I've been advising on, and that we are producing now and making by hand. There is not necessarily an expectation from the Poinciana Paper Press residents. However, all of them are making something, and we have an exhibition opening at Poinciana Paper Press on February 14th, on Valentine's Day. But it's all day from 11 a.m. to 6 p.m. So you could come anytime, cute little art date for Valentine's Day before you go do some other stuff. It's all day, so people could drop in anytime and see what the artists have been working on. And the artists will be there. So, Tracy and Carol unfortunately have to leave us soon, which is personally devastating because this has been...
It is.
This,
We
honest,
get
this has been so much fun. It has been so much fun. So they leave right after the opening. The show will be up for a couple of weeks, but if you come on the 14th, you'll be able to meet the artists and talk with them.
From Trinidad and Dominica with love.
Yes, we
Let me
love
tell
it.
you what else is with love. Listen, my Guyana cousins, my Jamaican cousins, my Bayesian cousins, my Dominican cousins, all my Eastern Caribbean state cousins. Trinidad still holding the record for the chana and potato. They still holding the record.
Real talk. Real
Right,
talk.
because when artists are cooking, they just can cook anything in their hands.
Yes.
And it's been a wonderful, wonderful time. All right, so we got to get to the Andros excursion, right? I think we're leading into a break. We're about to take a break, but I need to find out who went to Andros. Did you see any Chickchanis? Right? Did you fall in love? Did you get lost anywhere? Did you?
I think it came home.
Yeah.
With one of the artists. I think one of the artists brought a chick charney on the plane.
We can find out more about that in a minute. Producer, let's take a break. We're going to a break. We'll be right back. Stay tuned to On the Clock with Chickchani Greene, Guardian Radio 96.9.
Oh, yeah. No.
Wait, you know what's going down tomorrow?
No, wait, what happening?
Joe bringing these knives to school. He could do Junior in.
For what?
Wait, he fooled with Joe girl.
Mother sick. And you know, Junior don't bark down for nothing. So that means you got a big fight tomorrow.
So whose side you on?
Side? I trying to stay in school, not Simpson Pen. We gotta tell somebody about this fight.
Tell somebody. I ain't no snitch. I mean cool, you know.
Wait, if you so cool, then you need to stay in school and stay out of the fight.
Yeah, but if I don't hang on Joe's side, him and these boys coming for me next.
All right, so we definitely gotta tell somebody. We gotta prevent the fight.
What I say, I don't want nobody call me snitch.
We could just call Crime Stoppers. You could report what you know, and nobody gotta know it's you.
So how did I wait?
All you gotta do is call them, or you text them through the Crack Crime Bahamas app, and nobody can know it's you.
Then the police come looking for me for more info, and when they finish with them, Joe them coming looking for me?
When you call Crime Stoppers, the calls go directly to Miami, and they don't ask nothing about you. Then you can get the pen from them, and they can claim a reward later using that same pen.
Plus, everything's scrambled, so nobody can read what you're saying.
Call 328-8477 from Nassau or 242-300-8477 from the Family Islands.
Love the show? Want to give your support? Become a sponsor today. Call 302-2300 for our rates and packages. That's 302-2300. Become a sponsor on Guardian Radio 96.9 FM. Fresh news, smart talk, all day.
Struggling to find your financial rhythm? Make that move to Fidelity and let us help you orchestrate your financial goals into perfect harmony with free financial coaching sessions. Make that move today. Call 356-7764.
Fidelity, we're good for you.
The following is a paid political message.
Find it here. You're looking for truth. Find it here. Vote for MacGyver. She's here for you. See everybody in Kalani. Change is here. Hey, hands in the air. See everybody in Kalani. Vote for MacGyver. She is a fighter.
That was a paid political message.
Welcome back to On the Clock with Chickchani Greene. Somebody called me just now and asked me if I have a license to call myself a Chickchani. Let me just tell y'all, unless the Chickchanis themselves have copyrighted and licensed the name, I'm not listening to any of y'all. I come from a long line of Chickchani catches. And the most important thing to remember is you can never catch a Chickchani, not outright. No. You have to convince the Chickchani that it is catching you. And then just like a good wife, you say, surprise, I got you. All right, welcome back, ladies, to the conversation. I have joining me in studio this morning a crew of artists from the Poinciana Paper Press Experience, the Lucayan Archipelago Residency 2026, and the Poinciana Paper Press Residency 2026. We have Tracy Singh, Carol, pronounce your last name for me again.
Carol Surrender.
Surrender. Why you have all those vowels in there? I love it. Though.
Blame my history.
And we're gonna
entangled history.
We're gonna get to that because it's rich and luscious like your art, right? Lisa Cordella and Natalie Willis-Wiley. Now, Lisa and Natalie are joining us from Grand Bahama. Mm-hmm. So no matter what they think, they're also foreigners.
Well,
at this
now so I can make you feel like that, eh?
All right. Until y'all stop calling it porky.
No, man. Never.
No.
Never.
We're not in that.
I'm sorry. That is my religion.
Hey, ain't nothing better than a proud Grand Bahamian. All right, ladies. Okay, so the Lucayan Archipelago, Andros. How many of you went to Andros?
Three of us.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Natalie, what happened?
And 3 is a magic number.
I had to do
work it.
things. I had to do work things.
Well,
But trust me, I love Andros. I love Andros so much. I was very, very, very sore to miss it, especially Red Bays. I know that was an experience. I know.
Yeah,
It really
absolutely.
was, yeah.
Absolutely. So, what part of Andros did you enjoy the most? Just like a regular person and then as an artist? Because I know you sort of slip into artist mode.
Yeah. Well, I'll just jump in first. For me, it would have been the forest and the blue holes. Having a sense of a space where the Lucayans existed and thrived for years. I literally had a spiritual experience at the Blue Hole. I did have a little smoke ceremony there, and I made some offerings to our ancestors. It was a real essential, or has been a real essential part of being here. That connection with the Lucayan heritage of the Bahamas, one that I hope will be even interrogated even more as time goes on, because we really have to start unraveling some of the tales that we've been told about ourselves. And so that was perhaps the most meaningful part of the trip for me, under the guidance of Chief Peter Douglas.
Shout out to Peter Douglas, honestly.
Chief Peter.
He made this the whole trip and itinerary. I told him what I was aiming for, and he blew it out the water. He showed them an excellent
Absolutely
time.
amazing.
Listen, I haven't seen Peter since 2003 when I worked for a brief stint at the Bahamas Environmental Research Center in Andros. So I didn't even tell you all how jealous I was that you guys went to Andros. But since you all don't know that Andros is still a magical place, right? There's a part of Andros
Absolutely.
called the Jolter Keys, right? The Jolter Keys exist for 2 reasons. First of all, aragonite or oolitic sand. Second reason, there's a hole in the barrier reef, right? Like parallel to where they are. So what happens is the high energy water rushes through the hole while all the rest of the water moves slowly over the reef. That high energy water pushes the aragonite above when fresh water hits it, it calcifies, it turns into rock. And so when Christopher Columbus sailed through these islands, those keys, the Jolter Keys, did not exist, could not be on his map because they were formed in a relatively short period of time due to the nature of the sand that produces itself right there. Andros is just, I'm so jealous.
It's alive.
Now, did you go in the Blue Hill Hole?
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
oh
we
yeah.
both-
We
both did.
Carol and I went
2/3
in.
of us did.
Carol and I went in, and like, I don't normally float. I have trouble floating because I have trouble relaxing. But it really was a magical experience. Like at one point, Peter had to reach for me because I started to drift towards the center, and I was like, well, I'm going to come out in Atlantis. I was quite prepared, because it's a place full of spiritual portals, and I think its magic has lasted and will continue to, because it is a living space.
Absolutely. Now, Lisa, you didn't go in the Blue Hole.
I did not on this trip, but I have been in blue holes before, and it was just the Bahamian in me came out because it was too cold to go in.
According to the law.
Thank you. I wanted to keep my passport.
Yes.
So, but I was really, one of the things I was so looking forward to about going to Andros was interacting with the Blue Hole again. Because I used to spend summers in Nicholstown. I had family there. And for a brief time in the early 90s, I worked at Androsia. So I went over a few times.
Okay.
But not since then. I mean, I did the math. I realized that was like 30 years ago. It didn't feel that long. But when I went back, I was expecting to be moved by the Blue Hole because I feel a connection to Blue Holes anyway. But what surprised me was And I guess Andros will surprise you. I was put under a spell by the mangroves. The mangroves drew me in, and they've been they stirred something in me that I didn't know was there. And that's what I took away from Andros, and I'm still grappling with it, processing it, understanding the symbolism behind it for me and how that's going to translate into future stories that I'm writing. And imagery, it's already starting to work its way into imagery that I'm using. So, Andros was hard to put into words, but it was transformative.
Mangroves are like a natural nursery.
We saw some bonefish.
Yes.
So this is the dilemma of the tourist market, right? Like you need mangroves to preserve shoreline, but mangroves don't look pretty in promotional videos, right?
And
so
because of what we promote.
Right, but the more beach, the more beach you have, the greater the risk that you're going to lose your tourism.
Right.
And on our last day, we went for a walk and we saw like a shoal of bonefish going past.
Oh
and
my
we
goodness!
saw
Yes.
snapper and all kinds of fish in the water.
Did y'all?
I don't know. I think what are the photographers aiming at then? Because the mangrove is gorgeous. It's beautiful.
Exactly.
It's teeming
Exactly.
with life and color and vibrancy and
and that's where the mutton snapper spawn. Like, if you love mutton snapper and gray snapper, you got to protect the mangroves.
Right.
Yeah.
And the pine forests in themselves are so beautiful. I mean, they're stunning. And the number of herbs we saw on that walk.
Home of the
Hardly
Chickchani.
scratch the surface.
We can't tell if we saw any Chickchani, though. That's a secret.
Remember
But we felt welcome.
Chickchani Club is we don't talk about Chickchani Club. So, Carol, for me, or the impression that Andros made on you, I'm excited to hear because you come from the Nature Isle.
Yeah. I mean, but...
And your work is, from what I've seen, focused on what exists in nature and how can you bring up what naturally exists.
Yeah, my work's very much rooted in nature, so I love the environment. The minute I landed in Andros, I just felt a connection because of the simplicity. I just love the fact that when we got off the plane, you got off on the runway, the building was so simple. There was no, major security issues. It was just, it reminded me a lot of home in the old days. And just driving through, I just thought, this is... And it was a very emotional experience for me. I literally burst into tears. And it was quite overwhelming. It wasn't the grits. We'll come to the grits experience later. But it was a very emotionally overwhelming experience. Now, Dominica is mountainous, red soil, the land of fire, really. We have 9 volcanoes. And Andros was like a total contrast. The color of the water, just this crystal blue. The pine forest, the flatness and the white. The weather was freezing cold.
We had a test. We had a
real test, but I think it was right for our experience.
Yes.
Maybe it was less of a distraction from going to the beach or hanging out on the beach. So, I think
When we talked about it afterwards, we all agreed the weather conspired. The weather was something that we felt was almost a blanket, a shroud around us, just creating a little bubble for us to experience Andros in these
in a very particular
levels of ways. Yes.
Almost like a protective.
Like this should be your focus. There's nothing going on beyond this. How it felt.
And Peter was absolutely amazing. I think he was the right guide for us, the right person to be with. And
y'all heard the word, right? If you go into Andros, call Peter Douglas.
You have to.
Facts.
You have to.
Right? Yeah, he was
Now,
great.
They say if your intentions are pure and your heart is true, when you're in Andros on a clear day, you could hear the song Bonefish Foley. He's so meek and lowly. Anyway, did any of y'all get into any entertainment? Were there any activities happening around the place while you were there? Or did you get to talk to the residents of the settlements that you moved through?
Oh yeah, we did get to talk to. I mean, again, while driving through Andros with Peter, you can't really get more than 3 or 4 car lengths before somebody actually hails him out, and
knew everybody.
he knows everybody, and that was also quite magical, because we are also moving to a time where people are so concerned about their security. We separate ourselves from each other. Neighbors don't know neighbors. People aren't coming out in the street to play like they used to, and there were none of those barriers there that we could see, in terms of how Peter was interacting with everyone. We also got a chance to witness and participate in some basket weaving at the Red Bays, and also some carving, some stone carving, some wood carving at Androsia. We also got to create our own prints on fabrics, and the whole journey has been very inspiring, and it's just you have so much admiration for the work that the real hard work that goes into making these works of art, which kind of get assigned the title of craft, but it's really hard work. Bookmaking is very hard work. Like we are putting in some work.
Muscle building.
You think it's easy. You imagine, I'm gonna make a bunch of handmade books for myself. I just want to tell you all, it's all hard work. Absolutely. It's extremely rewarding. It's extremely rewarding, but it is hard work. And when you listen to the basket weaver talk about the fact that when she started off as a kid learning from her grandmother, they were doing it under a street light, and they were using like nails, in order to do this weaving. It's extremely,
because we're almost at the end of this hour. There's a two-part conversation, right? We're going to continue in the second part. But Carol, when did you get the inspiration to make dye from cocoa plum?
Oh my gosh.
Was it in Andros on your way here, imagining all of the things that you could do? Or was it after you put the first cocoa plum in your mouth?
That's a magical story too.
Yeah, that's a magical story. The day before we left Andros, Tracy...
I was in the garden.
Yeah, she was in the garden. And
I
said,
saw this black fruit.
Let me tell you all, cocoa plum is like one of the lowly fruit here. We don't rate it.
That's
like old-time people and Family Island people rate it because fruit can be scarce on the island sometimes. Some islands.
The only not like endemic like fruits that we have like actually like from here, which is also like that, and like pigeon plum. You know what I mean?
But it's the first time we'd heard of cocoa plum because we call them fat pork.
We call them fat pork where we're from. We call them fat pork.
Fat pork?
That's right.
With a K?
Pork.
Yeah.
Because y'all feed them to the pigs?
No,
that's not the reason?
Because they look like white pork.
The white flesh of it. Them fat porks, I think. So I'm in the garden and I see this thing and it looks like a grape, but at the same time, the rest of the tree looks like a fat pork tree. So
like
I called Carol because I was like, I'm sure Carol knows something that I don't about this thing. And she says, well, it looks like fat pork. And so we both grabbed and we tasted it.
Try it.
They thought, we don't know what it is. Let's eat it.
We ate it first, and then Carol was like, well, I'm going to look it up. And I was like, to see how long we have? Like, maybe we're going to die.
Forget the
But it was delicious.
Listen,
and we were like in wonder in the garden there, like about this black fat pork.
Yeah. We both went into 4 hours of research individually.
We were just like... Because there are some amazing things about the fat pork. You all know,
it's amazing.
Yeah, I mean...
Like, okay, so y'all... Let me get a review. I heard that y'all had stew cocoa plum.
We did as well, which was excellent. We got that at the market.
Dear Nassau people, my cousin Brianna, who is actually my cousin Leanne Key's cousin Brianna in Abaco making old-time boiled cocoa plums. The Family Island people know what making sense. It's us Nassau people. And give Brianna a call at 47...
That's right.
54187 475-4187.
I just had some with my oats this morning, and it's amazing. So, well, highly recommend
In Andros,
it.
we heard they use them to fatten the crabs before the crab fest. But we found out a lot of other things about the cocoa plum.
Yeah, so we've been experimenting making dye. We read that it's a black dye can be created, and apparently the dye is permanent and water resistant.
Yeah.
And we've also got a purple dye from the fruit. Tracy will tell you about the other bits.
You got the black dye from the leaves and the stems?
The black dye from the leaves.
And the purple dye that I saw from the fruit itself. I mean, listen, nine cocoa plum produced what looked like between a quarter of a cup of liquid dye. Just 9 cocoa plums.
It's kind of violet.
Yeah, it's like
you said it's a preservative too, right?
Well, apparently the black is water resistant and
It's like indigo. That's crazy.
a preservative as well.
Apparently, some elements of the cocoa plum can even,
do they
tighten
aid?
your.
Right.
Listen,
Rejuvenate. Yeah.
I got you have rejuvenation properties.
I don't know what the
skin,
recipe is.
It's all skin. I imagine it'll do the same thing on
But
any
I'm
skin
just
on your
saying,
body.
you guys need to stop watching the cocoa plum slice because it have things going on.
In fact,
things going on.
this
High
is
mineral content, high vitamin content, medicinal properties.
As we come to the end of this hour, this is a wonderful opportunity for my PSA, cocoa plum PSA. First of all, there are cocoa plum bushes and hedges everywhere, but they're being used as ornamentals and not for fruit production. And here's what I mean. The people who get paid to landscape these hedges are not paying attention to the fruiting schedule of the fruit, right? So in front of the Harry Seymour Library, East Bay Street from the Old Bridge to Poop Deck, right? Even in front of the Guardian, there are fruit-bearing cocoa plum bushes that are not bearing only because of when they're being trimmed, right? Also, on that note, dear students of UB, did you know that there is a free food supply available to you on the campus? Those big trees in the area that used to flood, well, the reason that those trees are there and thrive at roots, they produce a fruit called the damson Shropshire prune. And it is yummy. Y'all, I mean, you scrap your pennies and support the businesses on campus, but every once in a while, when you don't have enough pennies, grab some fruit from the tree and fill your belly.
We'd literally never seen the black cocoa plum before. It was a real moment of discovery for us.
So you only seen the white and the pink and the purple.
We had never ever in life seen the black one before.
Because we have the fat pork and cocoa plum in Dominica, again along the eastern coast, which is Atlantic coast. And I've never seen the black one. Again, just
real moment of discovery for us.
Listen, in fact, we're going to start doing some patenting. We're going to start doing some patenting and research. People, listen, we're nearing the end of this hour. Sonia, let's give people the dates for the show.
Sure. So if you want to come and see the cocoa plum dye in action, because Carol was able to use it in our collaborative artist book, and it is stunning. It's stunning. So come through and see what they've been doing at the exhibition. It's called The Earth Breathes Every Season. And it opens February 14th at Poinciana Paper Press from 11 a.m. to 6 p.m. Just drop in any time, although we will have a poetry reading at about noon, just to kick things off, because everyone has written some really interesting work. And we're located at number 12 Parkgate Road. Okay? So come through.
Oh, it's number 12.
Do come.
Okay, it's not number 13.
No.
Telling people it's number 13 Parkgate Road.
You just scared me, Erin. I feel like you saw 13 on the poster. Is 13 on the
but
poster?
luckily for me,
Lord have mercy.
12 and 13 are like very close to each other.
Yeah, I mean, you can't miss us. We have a mural on the wall of Poinciana's, painted by Angelica Wallace Whitfield. So it's super beautiful. Come through to the exhibition. You can meet these lovely artists and writers who have been speaking today, because they will only be there for the opening. The show will be up for a couple of weeks though, and usually we're open Thursdays, Fridays, and Saturdays.
Absolutely.
We'd love to meet y'all.
Absolutely. So we've come to the end of the show. Again, this is part one of a two-part series. In the second part of the series, we're going to delve into these artist profiles. I mean, this prolific work, not just the magic that Carol and Tracy and Lisa is doing and Andres turning black cocoa plum into industry, not just that. They're prolific bodies of work. We're going to get more about the press and things that take place there, more about the residencies, and of course, more about the artists. You've been on the clock with Shikchani Greene. Stay tuned to Guardian Radio 96.9 FM, Guardian Radio AM, and CA Newry is up next.
Lucky was the maid, he was always late. Hot man on the pot, once he knocked him out. Oh Lord, she shout, oh Nancy, shout. Andress, crab at a feet stop, one levy go eat. Jelly, coconut, promise, eat it, boy, you really gonna be it. Andres Island is big and long. Whatever grows there will make you strong. The cats and the dogs and even bullfrog eat a crab fat and call it a daddy. Yes, man. Play the music. Oh, come on now. Let man. Strong. The cats and the dogs and even bullfrog eat a crab fat. Look crab at a feet stop, levy go eat. Jelly, coconut, promise, eat, boy, you really gon' be it. Andres Island is big and long. Whatever grows there will make you strong. The cats and the dogs and even bullfrog eat a crab fat. Calling a night, yes, man. Let music. Come on.
This is Guardian Radio 96.9 FM, streaming on GuardianTalkRadio.com and the Guardian Radio app, Nassau, Bahamas.